We've got a bunch of stories today. A lot of things happened over the last 24 hours, so we're just going to dive right into the news. So, we've got Sony saying that they are not going to be at E3 again this year. As a reminder, they did not show up last year to E3. There's a lot of thought behind why they didn't show up to E3 last year. Most of it revolved around the fact that we're right before console launch. They didn't have anything great to show off. Spider-Man was already out. They didn't have any great console exclusives coming this year. They didn't have any great news announcements coming in this year here, especially with the way they're doing some of their game releases, the way they're talking about things. They figured everybody's going to go, all right, Sony's taking a year off. Not a big deal. They're going to come back E3 2020, knock it out of the park with the PS5, with some big reveal, some big game exclusive, something. And then we get this, as reported by Daniel Van Boom and Sean Keane from CNET. They said, and this is a quote from Sony here, just want to make sure that I get this right. After thorough evaluation, Sony has decided not to participate in E3 2020. We have great respect for the ESA as an organization, but we do not feel the vision of E3 2020 as the right venue for what we're focused on this year. ESA is the company behind E3. So, Sony is definitely taking a more global strategy. We've seen their state of plays start to pick up. They've started to do a lot more with how they use the state of play, and I kind of like it. They have a lot to learn. A lot of people are comparing it to Nintendo Direct, and to say that they are using Nintendo Directs as a cheat sheet, Cliff Notes, is an understatement from the way they present everything. However, Nintendo does do other things different. Sony does do a few different. Nintendo does a few different things here, and Sony does a few different things. However, they're very, very similar. The one nice thing about Sony's state of play is they can focus on Sony. They can focus on only the games that are going to be at Sony, or have some other, maybe it's some cross-platform game, have them reveal it on Sony, and everybody then associates, wow, this game is great on a PlayStation 5, not on an Xbox, not on a Nintendo Switch, not on a PC. They think this game is Sony's deal. So, that's one thing. They can control the message. They can really focus and just get all of the attention. Second thought, E3 is expensive. It is not cheap to put up one of those booths, to staff it the whole time, not to mention the design costs, all the way that start year, maybe 2 years in advance. There's an article talking about at the end of E3 2019, Xbox was already, all right, hey, let's take 2 days. Let's come out with E3 2020. We need to get this show on the road. We need to get it done because it does take that much time to build those complex sets. Look at what Xbox did last year with the Gears of War exhibit that they had there. It was amazing what Bethesda did with the Doom setup. Fantastic. So, that costs a lot of money, and they don't really get a lot of money back in return. Sony's probably looking at this going, hey, we can do a state of play. Everybody's going to tune in. We don't have to spend a lot of money, relatively speaking. The production value of those things is really great. But in the grand scheme of things, the cost of an E3 booth versus a state of play, drop in the bucket. Rounding error, essentially. So, I think that Sony's probably going to just focus more on a state of play, just kind of make them the show, make them the star, make it all about Sony and what Sony is doing to help gamers and to promote gaming and to just go out and have fun. We do see them showing up. I mean, Sony did reveal that their PS5 logo was at CES. A lot of people gave it a hard time, and myself included. Not so much that it was a shock that it was PlayStation 5, because they've done PlayStation, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4. They're not Microsoft. They're going to call it PlayStation 5. However, they didn't really do much with it. Like, I really love that classic PlayStation 2 logo, the one that looked that futuristic, that blue one. That looked awesome. The Spider-Man writing for PlayStation 3 was nice. PlayStation 4 was fine. It was a good logo. It was different. the original PlayStation logo, the PS, in that 3D format to show you, hey, guess what? We're different than NES, SNES, Sega. Our stuff is in 3D. Come check us out. Let's have fun with that. So, coming back all around and bringing this back together, Sony wants to make it about them, in my opinion, and that I think it's a good thing for them. I think this is really going to help out. I think this is going to definitely open the door for Xbox, because without Sony there, again, Xbox is the major console that's going to be there. Nintendo has a presence, but Nintendo will always have a fan base, and Nintendo doesn't really ever compete directly with what Microsoft and Sony do. Microsoft and Sony just go head to head, butt heads. My console has 12 teraflops. Well, mine has 14. Mine has this many teraflops. I've got a solid state storage. Yeah, well, we've got solid state storage too. Cool, guys, cool. And then Nintendo's like, hey guys, we're over here. You want a Switch? I got Switches for you. They're right here. They're fantastic. Bring it anywhere. You want to talk about gaming anywhere? Play anywhere? Yeah, Nintendo Switch. Grab one. It's fantastic. So, with the door open like this, what is Microsoft going to do? Phil Spencer had a tweet here saying, our team is hard at work on E3. We look forward to sharing with all who love to play what's ahead of us. Our art form has consistently been propelled by the cross-section of creativity and technical progress. 2020 is a milestone year in that journey for Team Xbox. With the Series X coming out here, holiday 2020, I'm guessing a late November launch, and I would not be shocked if Sony and Microsoft launched on the same day or one day apart. That's just going to happen. It's been a little while since they both launched on the same day, and it's going to be great to see what happens there. But with Microsoft talking about there will be cross-platform support for the next couple of years of games. So whatever you have right now or what you will have in the future, you'll be able to play that new Halo game on your Xbox One X, on your Xbox One S, your Series X, and on a PC. Microsoft has really went whole hog on this. They went full ham. They're trying to get everybody into the Microsoft ecosystem, because at the end of the day, Microsoft is such a big brand like that. Yes, it's Xbox, but they want you to come in, they want you to get Game Pass, they want you to sign up for an Xbox Gold membership, because they know that if you get Xbox Ultimate for your PC, I have that, I think it's a fantastic service. It's $15 a month. That's going straight to Microsoft, who then doles it out to the studios. However, we don't really know how that goes. There's got to be some kind of percentage, I'm sure, that goes to the guys over at that developed Outer Worlds, I'm sure, because that was on Game Pass. I played it. I did not have to buy it. I did not spend the $60 on it or $100 for a special edition. I have it on Game Pass. Yes, I understand that Microsoft could take this away at any time, and whatever the publishers back out, it happens. There's always a rotating library, but I think overall that Game Pass is a fantastic option, and Microsoft is trying to look at the future, trying to predict what's going to happen and go, all right, so we've got Game Pass. So they're trying to become the Netflix of gaming services, which is not a bad thing. Netflix has done fantastic work bringing streaming to everyone out there, bringing it into the mainstream. So everybody then is trying to copy what Netflix is doing, and they've had various levels of success with Amazon Prime and Hulu and now Disney Plus. But there's a limited pot, because once you start adding too many people to it, you're going to end up outgrowing what people are willing to spend. And I think Xbox is looking at that going, people are making choices right now on, do I want Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, and Disney? I got to pick 3, or I got to pick 2, or I got to pick 1. Xbox, I think, is playing the game that if you get in early now, you're going to go, oh yeah, Xbox, that streaming service. Yeah, that's fantastic. So Sony does have something. It's not quite there yet. I think it'll be interesting to see what happens. And Xbox will be able to cash in on that and be able to use this lack of exclusives to show that they really care about the gamers and that they want you to play the games and have a great time. And I would not be surprised if, yes, you buy it on an Xbox One X, but then you buy a Series X maybe a year after launch. And the game could play well. It'll be cross-platform, so I'm sure you'd be able to bring it in, but would there be some sort of Ultra HD texture pack that you could spend $5 on? So that's another $5 that Microsoft gets, and whoever the studio that the game is, they get another $5 from you because, hey, guess what? You just got this extra content that was really no extra effort on them because they already made it. There's no going back and say, like, Ages of Empire 2 just had the ultimate super definitive, great HD, whatever. They've re-released it again and again and again, but it's got the latest textures and people have bought it again. Great game, but they had to redo the textures. In the case of making this cross-platform, they'll already have that. It'll be fantastic. So, I'm curious to see what Xbox is going to do at E3 right now. I'm curious to see what Nintendo is going to do. And I'm really excited to see what Sony and PlayStation are going to do in the meantime. See what kind of event they're going to run. Sad news for everyone out there hoping to play the new Final Fantasy VII Remake, the first part of this multi-part series. Unfortunately, the company, Square Enix, has just announced today that Final Fantasy VII Remake will be delayed until April 10th. So, unfortunately, it was supposed to be here March 3rd, which is coming up, and now they've pushed that back about 5 weeks. Unfortunately, you'll have to wait just a little bit longer. Hopefully, this means that they're making the game even better. I really am excited to see what they're going to do with this. I've never played any of the Final Fantasy games, and I'm actually excited that there was a rumor that the Final Fantasy backlog is going to be coming to Xbox Game Pass, and I was stoked because I've heard so many great things about the games, and I just want to see what all the hype is about. I'd love to see what's going on, so I can understand why you guys are disappointed because Final Fantasy VII Remake has been a long-awaited and really much anticipated game. So unfortunately, you're going to have to wait a little bit longer. But don't worry, you'll be able to commiserate with the Marvel's Avengers fans because they won't be able to set up shop until September 4th. This game was supposed to release on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Google Stadia, and PC May 15th. Right then, right as soon as school is getting out, have a ton of kids be able to play this game. It looks fantastic from the trailers I've seen. Unfortunately, Crystal Dynamics said that they want to spend some additional time focusing on fine-tuning and polishing the game. I think we've seen here in recent months that studios are trying to spend more time fixing games. They're starting to, and very early starting, to take more time on the games. They're getting away from this annualized release. Now, will Madden come out again next year? Yes. Will NBA 2K come out again next year? Yes. And same with MLB The Show. WWE 2K21, we'll see about that one. That one is a little dicey. But for the most part, those sports games will stay annualized because there's not a lot of room to innovate, unfortunately. That's just the way it is. Every now and then they'll come around with like the Ultimate Team. That's a cool idea. But games like Assassin's Creed really benefited from taking that year off. They were able to give a much better experience in Odyssey. It was a great time. They were able to really polish and fine-tune it, just like what Scott Amos and Ron Rosenberg are talking about from Crystal Dynamic. So hopefully this means that we're going to get this really awesome, really polished, minimal bugs game where we can play as one of our favorite Avengers. And I'm sure they're worried about if this game does not go well, Marvel and Disney are going to come down hard on them with Thor's hammer. Look at what happened with Battlefront 2 and EA. Disney was like, you're messing with Star Wars? Come back by the woodshed. We're going to have a little chit-chat here. And now Battlefront 2 is a lot better, and Jedi Fallen Order, even better. So, hopefully, they are taking this extra time to really actually do improvements and hopefully they're not trying to squeeze in too many things late here. Talking about the Nintendo Switch, BioShock is going to be ported to Nintendo Switch. There are some leaks that have happened on a Taiwanese ratings board. This is coming from US Gamer. It looks like we will be headed back to Rapture or Columbia, wherever, any of those places. That sounds like a lot of fun. This comes directly from the article here. The website for Game Software Rating Regulations, the official video game content rating board of Taiwan, lists remastered versions of BioShock and BioShock 2, BioShock Infinite, the Complete Edition, and BioShock the Collection as destined for the Switch. So, that's pretty exciting. I've played the BioShock games because they're on Game Pass. Speaking of bringing this back around to Game Pass, it was a fantastic game. I had a lot of fun. I loved BioShock 1 and 2. I did not get a chance to play Infinite, but seeing that Switch is getting everything ported to it, it's really impressive. This game, a lot of fun. Not as impressive as how they managed to port over The Witcher and giant games like that onto the Switch and managed to make them work in a decent way. I mean, you're not buying a Switch and expecting 4K resolution or 1080p on something like The Witcher. And what they squeezed out of that system, what they're able to get, was amazing. So I can't wait to see these smaller, still fantastic, but smaller games be able to run on the Switch and take them anywhere. That whole portability thing, Switch has got you covered. Switch is doing a fantastic job. And who knows, maybe you'll be inclined to hop on and get that GameCube Joy-Con, get that mod working for your Switch, and really have a great time. So if you're like me and you haven't played the Witcher games, haven't read any of the different books that have been published on it, and you just watched the Netflix series, you're probably a little confused as to the timeline, because I know that I was really confused. There were some months-long gaps where I could not figure out which way was up. I was like, wait, weren't Geralt and Dandelion just with each other? Why is he talking like he hasn't seen him in months or years, or what's going on? I thought, wait, I thought she was with the witches, and I thought that she was a mage now, and what the hell is going on? Entertaining, fantastic show. However, I had no idea what was going on. So, this is coming from PC Gamer. So finally, Netflix is definitely lending a hand. A very slick and extremely helpful interactive map, along with the accompanying timeline, is now yours to browse, which should hopefully clarify some wheres and whens. I know that's going to help me, because I could not figure out what was going on, especially with Yennefer and some of the storylines with her, where I'm like, wait, weren't you there? What happened to the baby you were protecting? I'm trying to do this in a very spoiler-free way, so I don't want to talk too much about it, but it will make your head spin as to what was going on, because I've never played the games, I've never read the books, so I had no idea at all on what the timeline meant and what to expect. So, with this coming out, this is a great help. Hopefully, this will help make some sense to you, make the show even more enjoyable. I know I'm looking forward to rewatching that series. Go ahead, hop on Netflix, check out the interactive map. I'll have a link in the description below. And thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. Please like and subscribe if you're so inclined. I'd appreciate any comments. Give me a thumbs up if you liked the film. If you didn't like this, give me a thumbs down. Maybe throw a comment, tell me something I could do better. I appreciate and read all the comments, so please like and subscribe. If you want more content like this, don't forget to hit the bell for notifications. Thanks and have a great day.